Let's talk kidneys and some of the best things that you should be doing every day to make sure your kidneys stay in tip-top shape. What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Dr. Philippe. I'm a board-certified family medicine physician. I'm a former Division I basketball player and a former personal trainer. Kidney disease is something that a lot of people deal with. When we talk about blood pressure issues, cholesterol issues, diabetes, we tend to focus on them specifically, and we don't really consider how the kidneys are impacted or affected by not only those things, or rather how your kidneys are affected by everyday choices you make. And your kidney function is something that you should be paying more attention to, period. Why are the kidneys so important? Well, broadly speaking, or generally speaking, they do help filter out products or stuff out of your blood. And they also help regulate certain body processes. They also don't regenerate. So if you develop chronic kidney disease and you suffer really bad kidney damage, it's not as if they can poof magically reappear, or rather they're known as an end organ. They're not the liver, they're just different. So you've got to protect your kidneys. And the number one thing you can do to protect your kidneys is to make sure you have good and stable blood pressure. Think of a fire hydrant. When you open the fire hydrant and that force of water that shoots out, consider that your blood pressure. And think of your kidneys like a net. Over time, if they are hit or met with a high pressure over and over, that net, which usually is tight and can filter only the most important things, eventually that net starts to get loose. And then as it gets loose, the ability for that net to filter only the most important things, or rather separating out the harmful from the good stuff, that function starts to get lost. And then you end up spilling more things into your urine. The filtration effect of the kidneys starts to deteriorate, and the health of the kidneys starts to decline. So it is very important to make sure that you keep your blood pressure under control. One of the biggest things you can do to help keep your blood pressure on the lower end and stable is to watch your salt intake. And no, it is not just the table salt that you add either while you're cooking or after you cook. Believe it or not, a lot of the salt that we refer to in terms of overconsumption of salt comes from the processed foods we eat on a daily basis. That's really where you need to spend more time looking at. If you can recreate one of your favorite meals or all of your favorite meals at home using freshly purchased food, do that instead of buying it already prepared, etc. Watch your salt intake. You know, the other thing that people can do, or the other thing you can do to protect your kidneys long term, maybe figure out a way, or maybe deal with your reflux without using medication. There are a lot of people that take reflux medications on a daily basis, and they swear that they cannot live without it every single day. If you haven't gone through and tried to reimagine or eliminate some of the reflux provoking things that you do on a daily basis, such as the foods you eat, the beverages you may drink, etc., and you just rely on chronic reflux medications, you are increasing your chance of developing chronic kidney disease. And if you're someone that uses chronic reflux medication, you should definitely consider seeing if there are ways that you can fix your reflux or improve it without using medication, making the sacrifice and avoiding a lot or most of your triggers. And then obviously talking with your healthcare provider or your primary care provider, etc., to determine if there's a safer alternative for you, especially if you're concerned about developing kidney damage. And again, this is something that a lot of patients are taking every day. They don't think twice about it. It's part of their daily consumption. They know that without it, they're gonna suffer from that chronic reflux, and it's a pain. But most medicines come with side effects, so just be cautious. The other thing that people do on a daily basis that will affect their kidneys long term is consuming caffeine. A lot of people drink caffeine every day and even multiple times a day. Caffeine not only can increase your blood pressure, and it can increase your heart rate, both of which put stress on the kidneys. Caffeine can also make you go to the bathroom, making you pee more, dehydrating you, which if you are dehydrated, that can affect your kidneys in a bad way. So be smart, mind your caffeine. If you're worried about any of these and how they're impacting your kidneys, always check with your healthcare provider, because there are tests that can be run to look at your health. There are tests that can be done to get a good snapshot of your kidney health. Always, always, always keep up with your healthcare provider and the blood work, etc., to make sure that your kidneys are okay. One easy way to combat the effect of caffeine: staying hydrated. This is a gallon of water. I'm not saying that you have to drink a gallon of water, but what I am saying is you're not drinking enough water, period. Water is not the only way that you can stay hydrated, but it is one of the best ways. Now, the recommendation is at least 60 to 64 fluid ounces of water per day. I happen to sweat a lot, so I aim for a gallon. That's just me. And I've been doing this since I was a personal trainer over a decade ago. It's just how my body sort of reacts to heat, sweating, etc. But staying hydrated is very important. And if you're like the average person who wakes up, may not have breakfast, has a cup of coffee, maybe 2 cups of coffee first thing in the morning, runs to the bathroom, goes to work, sits all day at work, has a 30-minute to an hour lunch, and they're going out to eat for lunch, or they have fast food for lunch, and then they don't do anything for the rest of the afternoon except for work, come home, etc. Don't drink any water. So in the morning you had 2 cups of coffee, at lunch you had a bunch of salt because you ordered out, and then you get home maybe eating more salt. So salt, dehydration, and caffeine, just like that. And then you do that day after day after day after day. Over time, you gain weight, which is also bad for your kidneys. So keeping a healthy weight is important for kidney function for the vast majority of people. So you can see how some of these habits on a daily basis, they might not seem like anything, but over time, they definitely create big issues. These are things that you can do on a daily basis that can help protect your kidneys long term, that don't involve necessarily adding medication or doing anything drastic. It's just paying more attention to your day-to-day experience and your day-to-day routine and how that's working with, for, or against your goals for your health. Sometimes it's not about making drastic changes to improve your health. Sometimes it's really making small but meaningful change that can have a lasting impact positively. So focus more on those things. Thanks again for stopping by my channel. Click the link below where I explain to you the important aspects of staying hydrated. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video.